the reason I wanted to do this because I went to one of your shows at Superior, and you had said something. I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was a very diplomatic way of bringing spirituality up. I can't remember exactly what you said, but you said something about like whether you believe in something or don't, or whatever you believe in. I can't remember what it was, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I actually think so. After my song, well, we have like a little outro to the song called "All Right," and a lot of times I'll talk about like my mental health journey, and I think a big part of my mental health journey was my realization, at least for myself, that I believe that there is a God who actually is interested in my life, and so that for me helped realizing, even though this is very hard, because I did. I don't know how deep we want to get on here, but
we can get as deep as you want to go.
So like 2 years ago, I had a plan to take my life. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to do that. The two things that stopped me were my belief in God and then my mom being sad about it. So
that makes sense.
Actually, that's actually kind of perfect. It's a metaphysical, metaphorical reason in a real world, concrete reason. Something brings you closer to people, and something brings you closer to God, or something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the belief in God can't, save everyone from, that. I was lucky enough to have the belief that, God, at the end of the day, has a plan. At least, yeah. So that's why I think. So yeah.
Damn, man.
Decided not to take the
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like it was something that I try to keep to myself because it can like be like a thing that where people are like, whoa. Especially like I never thought that I would be someone who would even deal with depression because I was just always the happy-go-lucky dude, very extroverted,
right.
Loved being around people. So when depression hit, I was like, I didn't even know what it was. I was like, yo, I don't know why I just don't feel motivated to do anything, like why I feel very moody, why I feel sad a lot, and why I just feel like I was living out of my car at the time, and I was like, dang, I'm good. I'm like I've lived long enough. I'm tired. I'm ready to go.
Did some of those songs from last night hit you?
Yeah, I know the song, when I was writing my song, it did. And then hearing the other people's songs, too, about suicide, I was like, yo, I get that. Because I wasn't, like, when I was thinking about it, I remember at first I was like, I can't believe I'm even contemplating this. But then when I was actually, about to, to go forward with it, I kind of felt a bit at peace. Because I was like, you know what? I think this is the right move for me. Is the right move for me. If reincarnation is true, hopefully I'll just have an easier next round.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. What was your? I guess I should say what I meant by last night is there was this show at Little Peck's that was Collar City Crimes and something.
It's like spooky, and I'm forgetting the name right now.
So am I.
Tripping, yeah.
But the idea was that each artist wrote a song about a different article about something that actually happened in Troy, and a lot of them were about suicide.
Yeah.
Like what was yours again?
Mine was Death of a Riverboat Captain. So it was pretty much a guy who was a riverboat captain, like actually lived a pretty good life. It wasn't like a really sad story. It was more like he lived a really good life, became wealthy doing what he was doing. He like had an estate and just died a wealthy man. And I wrote from the perspective of imagine if he like came back as a ghost and was seeing the world now and just being like, just felt really out of place now and was like, I don't know this city anymore, and I wish I could just go back to the days when I was doing what I loved.
Yeah. Damn. That Girl Blue one must have hit you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she said something about this, like this guy was just this was the right thing for him.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And he committed suicide, and like they said, all of his friends saw him, like the whole town saw him, and he was the happiest he'd been in years. I mean, I can't imagine that. I cannot. But it sounds similar to what you're saying about how you were feeling.
Yeah, because I feel like people, when they think about suicide, I mean, there's this whole idea, and I get where they're coming from when they say suicide is like a very selfish thing, but I'm like, is it not selfish also to like want someone to like keep on living if they really don't want to? It's like you I mean, you have people in your life. At least I know I do that love me and care about me. But it's like when you're going through some stuff, you're just like, dang. I'm like, I understand that people care about me, but like I feel like I need to do what's best for me. I realize now that is not what was best for me, and I would have missed out on so much amazing stuff.
That's so crazy, because I mean, I only know you as this amazing performer, musician who was like always, it seems like you're having a great time all the time. Like, man, it can hit anybody, really.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. I just really want people to know that, like, if you're going through something, just like let people know about it. Like, I let my parents know about it, and they were just really supportive. I know my dad texts me like all the time, just like even before this though, he would just like text me almost every day or every other day, and he's like, hey man, just want to check in and let you know I love you, which is like really means a lot to me. And my parents have just been very supportive of just me, just in general, and just showing me love, and my friends too. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the things that made me say, you know what, let's stick it out for a little bit longer. And yeah, I'm happy I did.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. What was the other side of that like? Like the because you said it was 2 reasons.
Yeah. Okay. And then the God part.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I guess we can go into like my spiritual story. So, growing up in a very Christian household, I had a very Judeo-Christian perspective on the world. My parents, we grew up in a very strict household. I guess more on the conservative side of Christianity, which is weird because like we were conservative in Christianity, but like my parents, we like hold more like democratic beliefs or like more liberal beliefs in certain areas. So
that
it was
interesting.
Yeah. So like politically, I'll say. I think that has to do with a lot of like the Democratic Party and African American communities have a pretty close. They're very closely knit. So yeah, growing up in that, I had a very strong belief in Christianity and who the person of Jesus Christ was. Believing you need to have a relationship with Christ in order to be saved. Very involved in church because my parents were in ministry, so we would travel around the country, around the world actually. We went as far as Australia, and yeah.
Wow.
That was super cool. So.
Wow.
Did you live there?
No, didn't live in Australia, but we were there for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And my father was a famous R&B singer, so that opened a lot of doors once he became a Christian. And so churches would have him come through, and him and my mom, because they both sing, and they would kind of give their testimony about how they were in the world, in quotations, which air quotes.
So crazy because there are so many. There's going to be a million lingo similarities too, aren't there?
Yeah. I would imagine so.
Because I just have never heard anyone say that.
Yeah.
Keep going.
They were in the world and how they were doing secular music, and how God called them out of the darkness into His marvelous light. They always would like to say.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, that was my whole childhood, and I remember as a kid I would go with them, and when they were doing altar calls, they would have me come up and pray, and I would see people like coming to Christ and stuff like that, and giving their lives back to Christ. But they would go everywhere. They would go to churches. They would go to prisons, anywhere, schools, anywhere where they could share their testimony and try to share, the gospel. So yeah, that was a big part of that. And I started getting into music, playing in church, and yeah, so yeah, I was very, very much involved